You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph, and it is August 19th, and we are feeling good. The 49ers yesterday ended their second joint practice session with the Minnesota Vikings, and today I'm going to be breaking down all of that action for you, and let's just jump right into it, right? Let's go. All right, so first, let me start with some of the players that didn't practice yesterday. Charvarius Ward, as you guys know, is still out. Emmanuel Mosley, however, was doing individual drills. So he's starting to ramp back up, and hopefully this means that he's going to be, out there with the team during team drills very soon. I would guess he's not going to play on Saturday. So, we're going to see a lot of the backups once again, a lot of these young corners getting some action against the Vikings in that second preseason game. Also not practicing, Jason Verrett, he's been out. He's getting ready for week 1 or maybe even week 2, so he remains out. Jimmy Ward as well is out with his injury, as well as Dante Johnson. So again, this secondary, very, very shorthanded right now. And so, take that into account when we're talking about everything that happened in these last 2 days of practices. Context matters. That's some context that definitely does matter. And offensive line, Mike McGlinchey, right tackle. He's been out as well, as has been Daniel Brunskill. And so, again, when I mentioned some of the things that I saw regarding the offensive line, don't be so surprised, I guess, because they're missing a couple bodies there. So, that's some context that matters as well. Curtis Robinson also did not practice, linebacker on the team. Eric Armstead is also someone who's been ramping back up, as well as Charlie Warner, who was activated from the PUP list earlier this week. He's still, limited to individual drills and side work. So, don't worry about those guys. They're just getting ramped back up. All right. Before I get into the good and the bad, let's go ahead and subscribe. Yeah, I know some of you guys have, you guys remembered it was my birthday. I appreciate that, Ty. I appreciate that, Mac. Mac, I saw you were out there in the practices too. You should have said hello. I was out there. But I saw some of your tweets, and good job on reporting that Trey Sermon looked banged up. I'll get into that in a little bit as well. Joey, what's going on? Thank you, man. Thank you for the birthday wishes. All I want for my birthday is you guys to subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't already, okay? Subscribe to the channel, like this video. Let's get this to 20 likes, okay? We got over 15 likes on the last video. We're moving on up, okay? We're getting there. So let's graduate to 20 likes together. We can do this, right? All right. Birthday wish right now. Let's go. Also, feel free to ask me any questions as I start, going on here. Okay, you're shy. I'm shy too. That's okay. Feel free to ask some questions if I'm not getting around to a player that you guys are particularly curious about. I'll, come back to these questions at some point. So first, I want to start by talking about the defensive line of the 49ers because they were the brightest spot of this practice, in my opinion. And you guys, if you guys saw my tweets, you guys saw Brad's tweets, David's tweets, like we were talking about Nick Bosa all day because this guy he had a massive day. And even by Nick Bosa standards. So sometimes it's like, yeah, he'll have a good day every day because it's Nick Bosa. But like there's some days where he has especially good days and you feel like you got to tell the world. So yesterday was one of those days for Nick Bosa. He was just all over the backfield consistently. I believe Brad had him at like 6 sacks. I didn't see that many, but that's because like I'm not always looking like at the defense. Sometimes I was looking at the offense, but yeah, I mean, if he really had 6 sacks, like that's ridiculous. I think I had, from what I saw, he had like 3 or 4. But again, I'll say what I said to you guys in my last recap episode. There's a lot happening at the same time, especially during 11 on 11s. The 2 11 on 11 sessions are happening simultaneously. So if I didn't see something, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. So keep that in mind. I unfortunately don't have, more than 2 eyes. So I can only see so much. But I'm going to go over what I did see. And that is that Nick Bosa was just, wreaking havoc. He was rushing from both sides of the line. And honestly, I would say he saw the most success rushing from the right side, going up against Vikings right tackle Brian O'Neill. For the most part, in these last 2 practices, I felt like Vikings left tackle Christian Darrisaw, he held up pretty well, all things considered, but he still allowed a sack. Like yesterday, Darrisaw allowed a sack that I saw, and I think I have a clip. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. If I can find here we go. Hold on. Let me just get to my Twitter account. Yeah, guys, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter yet, make sure you do that. I have been all over these practices. Okay, let's see. I think it's coming up. 1 second. Stay patient with me, guys. Looking for this video really quickly. There's a lot of videos I posted yesterday. I'm looking for the Nick Bosa sack. That's what I'm trying to find. Which there's a few of them. There's actually a couple videos of a Nick Bosa sack. So I'm trying to find the correct one where he beat Darrisaw. So I could show you guys. Oh, okay. I don't think I got a video of the Darrisaw. Okay. No, I didn't get a video of the Darrisaw sack. I'm sure Brad probably did, if you guys want to check that out. Let me see. Let me share my screen, though. Anyway. So I'll show you guys some of the other plays, though. So, yeah, I tweeted about him beating Darrisaw. I didn't get a video of it. Here is one of the following plays after that. Nick Bosa getting the tackle for loss. 1 second. Right here. So Nick Bosa right at the bottom here. Right there, the Vikings were blocking Nick Bosa with the tight end, which they keep doing like they did in the first day of practice. And Nick Bosa obviously was not having any trouble shedding him and making plays. But for some reason, they continue to do it in day 2. And this is the result you're going to get when you try me with the sorry ass tight end. This is the results you're going to get with Nick Bosa every time. So weird strategy for the Vikings. I don't know if Bosa is going to play on Saturday. I have a feeling he probably won't. But, if any team tries that against Nick Bosa in this regular season, I mean, we know the result they're going to get, right? All right. So, yeah, Darrisaw did allow a sack yesterday that I saw. And again, as I mentioned, blocking Nick Bosa with a tight end is just not very smart. And he was getting some run stops as well. Actually, let me share this once again. So here's that's the tackle for loss on Madison. I sure had other plays as well. Let me see. And I know, here I tweeted about another would-be sack. And then we'll talk about Fred Warner in a bit. I know I had some good Fred Warner videos. And then I know I have Brad's up too, because he had several of these sacks and plays from Nick Bosa. Shout out Brad, man. That dude's a madman. He's the GOAT. Here's that's Z's. That's Contras 9 interception. Here we go. So here he had like 3 play sequence of like just Nick Bosa just wreaking havoc. Let me start it from the top. All right, without the sound. Bloop bloop. You got that would-be sack. So the thing with these would-be sacks is that the Vikings side, they were playing through it anyway. So a lot of the time, the quarterback would still throw the ball, and they would, I don't know if they were counting it as uh, a play, but they played through it. Like, oftentimes they were still getting a playoff. So just keep that in mind. I mean, Nick Bosa was stopping a lot of these plays. So just wanted to add that context there. On the other side, though, the 49ers offense, they were, whenever like Trey Lance got sacked, like they would call the play dead. So they wouldn't even let him get the ball off. So little bias there on the Minnesota refs. All right, let's see. Let me get to some of these comments really quick. What's going on? Thank you guys. Yes. As someone who was also there, Mac, he said the DL ate all day long. Absolutely, it did. Both days, too. They are as good as advertised. So I'm very pleased with what I saw from the defense. What? Steph can't do it all? I don't believe it. Yeah, I can't multitask. Terrible multitasker. Yeah, and as Max said, all the camp activity at once is overstimulating. Head is on a constant swivel, especially during one-on-ones, because one-on-ones are so fast. In 11-on-11s, there's 2 happening at the same time, and there's breaks in between, right, when they do their huddle and all that. But one-on-ones is like one ends and the next one starts immediately after that. Oh, and there's 4 happening at the same time. Like there's 4 one-on-one sessions. So one-on-ones are especially very overwhelming, and I try to see as much as I could, but yeah, I was probably only able to really see what was right directly in front of me, as they do it on the near field and the far field. So Swan Song says, no super chat enabled. Do you have a Venmo you can post? Want to support you for all your hard work and dedication. I appreciate that, Swan Song. Yeah, I don't have super chat enabled yet because I have not reached that God mode tier on YouTube where I can start making money off my streams. But, I just want to let you guys know that you guys help me get there just by liking my videos and subscribing and watching. That helps me get to that point. So eventually I know I'll get to that point where we can have super chats. As of right now, I do not, but I appreciate the Venmo suggestion. My Venmo is at Strag, so I'm gonna just put it like shameless plug. It is my birthday after all. This is my username. I'm gonna pin that too. Right on. Thank you so much, Swan. That's awesome. Yes, Mac liked this video. Ty says tight end probably told coach, I can handle him, coach. I got you. Yeah, no, there's not a tight end in the league. Honestly, if there's any tight end who can block Nick Bosa, it could probably be George Kittle. But even then, Kittle has even said he doesn't enjoy blocking Nick Bosa at all. So, and I don't blame him. Vikings Reddit was quiet yesterday after hooping and hollering on day 1. Yeah, I mean, I think they had a little bit less to be excited for. I mean, it was day 1. I mean, Justin Jefferson was everything. He was the best player on the field by far for the Vikings. And it just through both teams, he was probably the best player on the field. And yesterday, I would say that Nick Bosa was the best player on the field from both teams. So, yeah, they didn't have quite as much to, be excited about. But, honestly, I think the Vikings have a really great squad. And if you guys do fantasy football at all, I would be trying to stack Kirk Cousins with Justin Jefferson just based on what I saw. They look like they have great chemistry. They're on the same page. And Justin Jefferson just knows how to get open really well. So I thought it was just 1K subs to get super chat. No, there's 4 different criterias that you have to hit and stay with in order to get monetize your videos. And the one thing that I'm short on still, I'm good on everything else, but the one thing I'm still short on is the watch hours. So as part of that, I'm trying to stream more often. I'm trying to post more videos. And so those watch hours will go up. And of course, if you guys watch my videos, that helps as well. So Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, no super chats yet, but we'll get there one day. Yes, it's the view hours. Absolutely what you said, Ty. Yeah, Max says the one thing the Vikings should get credit for is the TCO Performance Center is amazing. We should joint practice there every year. Yes, their facility is beautiful and it's massive. Massive. They have if you guys have been to the 49ers practice facility, there's two fields side by side. Near field and far field. The Vikings facility had four fields, like all stacked next to each other. That's how massive it was, as well as their bleachers. Their bleachers are freaking huge. And so it fit a lot of people, and you can get a nice view of like pretty much everything. And they even have like an indoor facility, it looked like a huge indoor facility. We didn't go in there, obviously, but yeah, they're absolutely stacked at their facility and really nice. I also like the fact that they made their camp day more of a like family day, like it was like a whole day type of event. I kind of thought that was really cool. And they had like concessions, not just free water that the 49ers had. Yeah, I definitely liked how the Vikings run their practices, and really, really nice facility for sure. All right, but back to this, back to what I saw. Yeah, so Nick Bosa, as I mentioned, was completely dominant. He got sacks, he got run stops, he had the tackle for loss on Madison. I just showed you guys that a little bit ago. And really the entire defensive line as a whole was having a great day versus the Vikings. Like the Vikings couldn't get anything going in their run game. And thanks to guys like Bosa, Fred Warner as well was all over the place. And really all of the linebackers, all the defensive linemen, they were on their shit. So it really translated to a really good day for the defense. Speaking of Fred Warner, let me find the Fred Warner, one of the Fred Warner plays. I think I had some like back-to-back ones I could show you guys real quick. And this one didn't have to scroll too far for this one. So let me play this one again. All right, so Fred's right here. Ooh, hand up. Ooh, he was so juiced. Let's play it again. Yeah, I mean, just you can't get to the quarterback? Okay, just put your hands up. I mean, make a play. Saw a lot of that. Drake Jackson had a great play where he got the ball up and batted it too. I'll show you guys that in a bit. So Fred Warner, I really liked this one because you see him like weave through that traffic. Like, look at him just like cut through this offensive line of the Vikings to get that stop on Madison. I mean, that's just Fred Warner things. Like, these are the kind of things he does consistently. And I mean, we expect nothing else from him, honestly. Ty asks, did you see Dre Greenlaw at all? Big play, Dre. Yeah, I mean, all of the linebackers had a really good day, honestly, and they were big contributors to the Vikings run game not really being able to do much. So I didn't see Greenlaw with like a really big like splash play, but again, just because I didn't see it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Maybe I was just looking somewhere else, but as a whole, the linebacker group was, on their game and really disruptive when it came to the Vikings run game. So you really can't ask for anything else. I saw Flanagan Fowles make some plays in the run game, as well as Aziz, and I think I posted one of Aziz's plays. And I don't want to dig around for it, but if you guys find it on my Twitter, it's on there. Other guys that made plays from the defensive line, Charles Omenihu, he had a sack on Kellen Mond. Charvarius Ward even had a sack. Hassan Ridgeway, welcome back, Hassan Ridgeway. I mean, before he got hurt in the early go of training camp, I was bummed because he was one of the defensive linemen who I thought was looking really good. Kind of like Kimoko Toure. Like, those are those underrated signings that the 49ers made this offseason that, I thought they're going to get some more time in this rotation, the more that they show production. So Ridgeway and Toure are some of my favorite depth pieces on this defensive line. And Ridgeway, it was his second day back in practice, and he had a sack, and he's making plays out there. So I really like what he brings, and I suggest you guys maybe keep an eye on him in the preseason game against the Vikings and see if he makes some plays, because I bet he will. Ebukam and Toure had a joint sack little meeting at the quarterback. I think Brad had a video of that. Let me see if it's not too far, if I can pull it up. Yeah, Nick Bosa, fucking hell. Brad had got so many videos of Nick Bosa plays. There were a lot of them. Yeah, here's let me look at this really quick. Let me find the different. Make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. The right tab, sorry. Here we go. So here's the Aziz play. Oh, I got a video of this one too. He like jarred the ball loose there. This one got the deep, like, our defensive side hyped. Yeah, like look at all of them juiced as hell. My clip, I ended it kind of early, so you didn't see that, but you see the reaction here. They were so excited. I love this defense, and like they have a great camaraderie, and they really try to show up for each other. That's one of like my favorite things about this defense. Like, you can really tell, like, it's like a brotherhood almost. Drake Jackson also had a really nice play. Let me see if I can pull that one up, because I know I had that one. Again, I had so many videos. Okay. What did I say? Drake Jackson. I think that was more towards the end. Okay, here we go. Let me show you guys this one. Drake Jackson, these both practices, has looked really good too. He's someone that I think we should all be really excited about. Check out this play. So Drake Jackson on the end here. He gets chipped by the tight end. Again, like, Vikings with their tight ends trying to, block guys. So he got chip blocked. Doesn't even affect him in the least bit. Like, he just gets right back to going after the quarterback, which in this case was Sean Mannion. And he got in his face, got his hands up, and he got his hands on the ball and forced that incompletion. So I really like that. And as you can see here, the other thing I wanted to point out was Javon Kinlaw just absolutely obliterating Udo, Vikings guard, on this play. Kinlaw's right here. I mean, just a massive freaking human. I'm sure you guys saw the video I posted of him. He looks like a freaking action figure. Him and Nick Bosa have just like crazy bodies. Like, how? So yeah, I mean, Drake Jackson, another guy I'm really excited for, and he'll get a lot of snaps in the preseason game tomorrow. So be on the lookout for him. I like what he's shown in these practices, and he's another guy, and he has been getting some first team reps here and there, but he's another guy who I think is just going to start getting more reps with the first team the more that he shows, and I think that's going to be sooner rather than later, to be honest. All right, let me get back to some of these comments really quick. Justin said, how about Kinlaw? Heard he was getting attention. Yeah, I mean, you can see in that clip I just showed, he's getting a lot of attention at times. Like, he demands the double teams, and things like that is what opens things up for Nick Bosa even more, right? And so I think as a whole, like, okay, if they want to double team Nick Bosa, okay, Javon Kinlaw is probably going to get free. Like, it's pick your poison on this defensive line right now. And it's going to be a problem for a lot of opposing offenses. Something to really be excited about. I think the defensive line is part of the reason I think this defense is going to be top 3, maybe even the top defense in the league. That's just how sharp they look right now. So yeah, Kinlaw has been, a monster in these last 2 practices, as he was during training camp as well. Just very disruptive up the middle. And I mean, if he can continue this, and the big question for Kinlaw has always been like if he can stay healthy, right? And based on his body, I know that doesn't mean everything, but just based on how he's worked on his body and like his physical fitness, you can tell he's made it a point of emphasis to get in better shape and hoping that that leads to health. And, we're all hoping that it does too. I don't understand. There's some 49er fans that, I got pissed at a 49er fan yesterday on Twitter because he was like betting other 49er fans that Kinlaw was going to get hurt. And it's like, dude, why you claim to be a fan of the team? Why are you rooting against a player on the team? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, I hope Kinlaw is healthy, because if he is healthy, like, sky's the limit for him and this defensive line. So definitely need that. Yes, Ridgeway, good to hear he's back. Absolutely. Rohan with the birthday wishes. Thank you so much, Rohan. Max says the Vikings' number 1 offense did not like the 49ers getting a little physical with them. Thielen was crying a bunch. Yeah, I mean, I did see that. I posted a video of Thielen like getting all pissed off, and I mean, he might have had a reason. Like, our defense was hitting their guys pretty hard, especially like the running backs on some of these stops. I'm trying to find the quote because I think there was a great quote that D'Amico had about that. I'm trying to find it. I think it was in Matt Barrow's piece. I'm trying to find it. 1 second. I should have taken a screenshot of it. Oh, here it is. So apparently, even the Vikings Vikings head coach went up to D'Amico Ryans at some point in practice to talk to him about how the 49ers were like tackling too hard, or like they were too aggressive or something like that. He went up to D'Amico, and D'Amico talked about this in his presser yesterday. He said, "We're going to practice hard. Our guys are going to be physical. That's how we practice each and every day. We have a standard to which we work every day, and that's what you saw today. We're just living to our standards." I love that. I love that, like, he's not backing down. He's like, this is just how we coach our guys to play, and we're not going to, water that down just because you think it's too aggressive. Like, this is what we coach them to do. So I love that, sticking to his guns. It's a reason that this defensive line is so aggressive, but also just very like gritty in the way that they play. And it's in the makeup of every player on this team. So I love that answer from D'Amico. Milano says it would be dope if Coach K somehow makes Ridgeway a possible pass rusher, because his play usually illustrates more of a run stuffer type player. Yeah, that's true, but I think Ridgeway can, be an effective pass rusher as well. I mean, he had a sack on Mannion yesterday, and I think that's something that, if anyone can release that side of Ridgeway, it's going to be Chris Kosarek, right? So I think there is an opportunity to see some versatility out of Ridgeway, and he'll probably build that and add that to his game. Like, the more that he's here, the more reps that he gets. So yeah, I would definitely expect that to be a thing. Yeah, the Vikings just looked kind of, I don't want to say soft, but like I don't think they were expecting like the 49ers defense to be going that hard in these practices. Yeah, and as you said, the 49ers clearly way more physical than the Vikings, way more. Yep, as they should be. Yeah, Milano says, look how huge Drake and Kinlaw are positioned right next to each other. A couple of towers there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of big guys on this defensive line who like have freakish bodies, and we all know that Drake has crazy physical. They call him the freak for a reason. I mean, he has crazy athleticism and physical attributes. So those guys next to each other is scary. And that's why I say I think Drake's going to get more, first team run the closer we get to the season. Like, he's going to have a bigger impact, I think, than I even thought he would in his rookie year. Yeah, and he seems like a good kid as well. Say kid because I'm way older than him. Not young anymore. This D-line going to be crazy. Absolutely. Son calls Javon the Hulk. And Kinlaw the Barbarian. Yep. He's crazy. So much quality depth on the D-line. They're going to be fun to watch. Yeah, absolutely. Swan Song says, Omenihu, Hyder, Teray, Jackson, Givens, Willis, and embarrassment of riches. Yeah, I mean, all of these guys you just named like have had some really good plays. Jordan Willis as well had like a good play that I showed a video, or I posted a video on. There was, I think it was Kirk Cousins. It was either Kirk Cousins or Mannion. He escaped the pocket, rolled out to the right side, and Jordan Willis just like was in hot pursuit of him the entire way, and it kind of forced a throwaway. And I liked that one because it was on 4th down, which from a quarterback perspective, throwing a throwaway on 4th down is like a no-no. But I think Jordan Willis just impacted that and affected the quarterback enough to do that. Yeah, Ridgeway did practice yesterday, Swan Song. I believe his first practice back, at least that I noticed, was day 1 going up against the Vikings joint practice. So yeah, so he was out there, and I'm excited about him. And he, like, as soon as he was back, he was already like, he didn't even need to get the rust off. He was making some plays out there. So someone to look out for in this game. Justin says, you love to hear about Kinlaw. Thanks, Steph. Good insight. Yeah, absolutely. Love to hear about Kinlaw, and he's doing really well. Definitely rooting for him. Appreciate the birthday shout outs. Yeah, so O'Connell was getting pissed off, it sounds like. He was taking it personal that the 49ers were doing their job and tackling hard. I mean, that just sounds soft to me, but I don't know. Yeah, I appreciate that. Ebukam is jacked as well. You know, a lot of people didn't realize it, but in that video that I posted on Twitter of Javon Kinlaw, where he has a shirt off and he looks like a freaking action figure, Ebukam was a guy next to him. I think someone even tweeted like, who's a puny guy next to him? One, Ebukam is not puny. I mean, he's not built like Kinlaw, but he's not puny either. And he was wearing the Shadow 1 Jordans. So shout out to Ebukam, man. Let's see. Ty asks, since Jefferson was cooking on day 1, how did the 49ers cornerbacks respond on day 2? This is a perfect segue. I'm glad you asked this because I was just about to start talking about the 49ers secondary. And I'm going to start off with some good on the 49ers secondary. And I talked about it on Twitter, like the first bit of practice. One of the first exciting things that happens in practice after they do like each team does their individual drills, positional drills, is the one-on-ones. And I thought that Ambry Thomas and Diamador Lenore, who honestly looked cooked, they looked terrible in day 1 of joint practice. The second day in one-on-ones, I thought they came out with more aggression. They were looking to get their hands in and, force incompletions. And that's exactly what you want to see out of these guys. They have to be more aggressive, especially Ambry Thomas. That's like one of the knocks I've always had on him. It's like, yeah, even if he's in position, a lot of the time he would just kind of let the play happen. Like, he's not getting his hands in there. He's not being physical enough. So that was my knock on Ambry Thomas. But in one-on-ones, I thought he did a better job yesterday to get his hands in there, as well as Lenore, who, I like Lenore. He has ups and downs, but I like him overall. And he got burned by Justin Jefferson in day one of joint practice, and I thought he did a better job on day two. God, I'm trying to find the video. I must have scrolled right past it. Okay. Let's see. One second. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I got a couple of, this is my screen, right? Yeah, here we go. So Castro Fields as well had Fred Warner, his pass breakup. A lot of people saw this one. Tariq Castro Fields had a nice interception against Myron Mitchell. And, in day one, there's one play where, he was in position. He had good coverage, and I forget who he's going up against on day one on this particular play. But, he didn't get his head around. And because he didn't see that the ball was coming, he couldn't make a play on it. But he was right there. He was in position. Had he just turned his head and, put his hands up, that ball wouldn't have been completed. But, in one-on-ones, he got the interception, got his head around, little things you like to see. Ambry Thomas, I was especially surprised by him winning this rep against Justin Jefferson, because in day one, Jefferson was just toasting everyone in one-on-ones. So I liked how Ambry came out. And this one I got a video of. You see right here. Jars that ball out right at the catch point. Right. Let me take the video sound off. And that's just the kind of thing that you want to see from Ambry. He needs to do more of this. And it's crazy because you see here, he's kind of outmatched as far as speed goes, but he closes in and gets his arm in there. And that's really all you need to do. He needs to do more of that. And he was pumped up after that, as he should have been. And I hope he does more of that. And then after that, Diamador Lenore also won a rep versus Justin Jefferson. Similar, just got his hands in there late. And again, that's just what these two need to do. Both of them are going to get a lot of run in this preseason game. And it could be both good and bad, right? I feel like they're still learning. I feel like we got to be patient with them, and also consider the fact that they aren't our starters, right? So it might seem, really terrible, and you guys might get all worried about it. But honestly, I think we just got to keep that into account. They're still learning a bit, and they'll get there. I still have hope for the two of them, and they just need to keep it up. So I like the fact that they looked more aggressive. They know what they have to do. They know that, time's ticking. I think they'll both make the roster, just because, again, I've mentioned this before, roster politics and all that. But at the same time, they also got to be feeling the pressure a little bit. So it is important for them to step up. So I did like how they stepped up in one-on-ones, but altogether during 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, I felt like the secondary as a whole just looked outmatched. And part of that is just because the 49ers didn't have their starters out there. So what do you expect is going to happen going up against Kirk Cousins or Justin Jefferson? I thought, so it looked like the 49ers defense, they were trying to run more zone yesterday. And I wonder if, just because Justin Jefferson was beating guys in man on day one of practice, maybe they wanted to try something different, see if the zone was a little more successful for them. Which, altogether, I would say it probably was. Though I still think that Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins did a great job of, connecting despite the 49ers additional efforts to stop them. And in particular, they did a good job manipulating the zone. And like I think Kirk Cousins does a really good job of opening up space by, looking off his safeties, looking at someone he knows he's not going to throw the ball to just to get, the defenders to, move an inch over the other way and then find a nice open space for Justin Jefferson or one of his other receivers. Like Kirk Cousins did that a lot during the team drills. And so that I think was really hard for the 49ers to defend altogether. But, I think it was a better day overall for the defense compared to day one. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with how the defense looked. And Justin Jefferson, like he's going to get his, I believe. I forgot who said that. Might have been Ayuk. But yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson, he's one of the better receivers in the league already. And so, yeah, he was going to get his regardless. And also with the secondary being shorthanded, I mean, you just expect those kind of things. But I thought the 49ers did a good job of, they did a better job of looking better the second day than they did in the first. Yeah, Max says Justin Jefferson is a cheat code. If he was with Mahomes or Rodgers or Allen, he'd be destroying the league. Yeah, I mean, that's true. He's destroying the league even with the Vikings, so got to give him props for that. All right, I got to wrap this up because I got to do a live. We're doing back-to-back streams. Doing a live at 10 a.m. Pacific with Jason right after this. So I'm going to try to run through this really quickly in the next 5 minutes, or I'll just tell him I'll be a little late. So other guys on the secondary that, made plays. Quantrez Knight, he had a nice interception where he was actually playing safety on this one. He got the interception on Mannion. Yeah, I'm telling Jason, wrapping up my stream might be a little late, 2 hours. Okay. But yeah, right after this one ends, I'm going straight to that one. So you guys get a double header here. Yeah, I didn't see all of Quantrez Knight's plays, but I read Matt Barrow's piece on The Athletic, and he pointed out that Knight had some other nice plays as well. Not just the interception. He had a pass breakup in the end zone, and he also had a sack. So I didn't see those other two. I saw the interception, but it sounds like Quantrez Knight has been coming along very nicely as well. And he's the backup nickel corner behind Samuel Womack. So now that Darqueze Dennard is not in the picture, Knight has gotten a little extra run. And as I mentioned, he was playing a little bit of safety as well, since the 49ers are a little shorthanded at safety. So it's nice that he has some versatility as well. Safety is something that he played in college as well. So I think that's something that, helps his chances of making the roster. He probably still has an uphill battle just because, one, I don't see the team keeping 2 nickel corners on the team. That's just typically not something that they would do, especially because they're just so deep at other areas. And I mean, safety, that might be the only thing that keeps him like around, because he has that positional versatility. But overall, I think there's a great spot for him on the practice squad. Should he clear waivers if he doesn't, make the 53. But Quantrez Knight, I mean, you guys should be excited for him as well. Keep an eye on him on Saturday, tomorrow, and see, how he plays. And, he might continue to push the envelope a little bit more and pressure the team to possibly keeping him around on the 53. Who knows? I mean, Samuel Womack just did that and bumped Dennard out of here for doing the same thing pretty much. So I don't want to say that Knight doesn't have a chance, but definitely interesting. He's playing well, and someone to be excited for regardless of what happens. Sammy Womack also looked good. He had a good tackle that I had posted where he worked through his block on a screen. Let me see if I could find it. me see here. Oh, here's... I don't want to get distracted. I was going to show you another play, but here we go. Let me share. All right, so let me start from the top. So Womack's right here with the black sleeves. Moving up, he's getting blocked, working through it. Gets that stop. I like that. Aggressive. Right there. I mean, it's not the greatest block either, but part of that is just the fact that Womack is just doing a good job of, trying to get to the play, pushing through it. So I liked that play by Womack. I think he had other plays as well, but that I probably just didn't see. But he continues to impress, and for him being a rookie, especially, he's looking good out there. He looks like he belongs on this defense. He had a pass breakup in one-on-ones as well. Womack did. Hufanga. Someone asked me about Hufanga on my last stream, my last recap of day one. And so I just wanted to give you guys my Hufanga update. He had a good day. They had him going in for some blitzes, which is always... I don't think he got any sacks, but only because Nick Bosa, there was one blitz that he would have had, but Nick Bosa got it first. So, and I think he also, on one where Bosa got a tackle for loss, Hufanga was right behind him too, so he could have gotten that too had Nick Bosa not gotten it. But yeah, I mean, he's there, where the plays happen. Seems like he's always in a good position to make a play, and you know that you can count on him to make it. He also broke up a pass intended for Justin Jefferson. So yeah, Hufanga had a good day, and he continues to look good out there. Really quickly, again, because I haven't even started talking about the offense. So we'll see who starts tomorrow. But obviously Ward and probably Mosley are going to be out. So D'Amico Ryan said he hasn't decided who is going to start at outside corner. Ken Crawley has been someone who has gotten a lot of run with the first team unit, while Mosley and Ward have been out. So maybe we see Ken Crawley. I mean, he was getting beat out there quite a lot too, but who, honestly, after Ward and Mosley, who isn't getting beat? We've seen a lot of those guys kind of have some bad plays, so it's kind of, you have no choice though but to play these guys. So Ambry Thomas might get some run to start too. Maybe Kadar Holman, not sure. And at safety, we probably see Charvarius Ward or George Odom starting in place of Jimmy Ward. For what it's worth, George Odom did get a lot of reps with the first team yesterday, so take that for what it's worth. All right, really quickly, just want to talk about the offense before I jump on over to the other stream here. So in real time, I feel like the offense looked bad, and I only say that because the offensive line struggled really bad. But Trey Lance was 13 of 19. So then I saw that and I was like, really? I was actually surprised that he was 13 of 19. It didn't seem like that from what I saw. And granted, I wasn't watching the offense the entire team period. I was looking at the defense quite a bit too. So I might have missed some plays, might have missed some good plays maybe. So I just want to, put that out there. So maybe it just seemed worse in real time. I don't know. Mac, I don't know if you're still watching, but I'm curious to know your thoughts on what you saw from the offense, because I didn't think that it looked that great, and it didn't seem like they got any rhythm, and just mostly because the offensive line was not playing very well. They gave up a number of sacks. Trent Williams gave up a sack to Daniel Hunter. McKivitz struggled again at right tackle, and even Burford, these last couple practices have been kind of rough for him. And we'll probably see Spencer Burford get a lot of snaps on Saturday. So let's keep an eye on Burford, see how he does, because these last 2 days have been rough, but Saturday is the game, right? So there's an opportunity for him to turn it around. So I want to see how he does. And okay, so Lance was 13 of 19. He also threw an interception, and that was, I'll talk about that in a bit. And there was also a drop by Brandon Ayuk, and then one of those was also a spike. So when you consider all of that too, the 13 of 19 seems even less bad. But yeah, as a whole, as an entire offensive unit, I thought Trey Lance did good, again, for like what he was given. But as an entire unit, I thought the offense like kind of left much to be desired a little bit. There wasn't anything like super flashy. But I liked what I saw from Lance, where, even if the pocket is collapsing, he hangs tight in the pocket. He stands tall. He keeps his eyes up. And there's a few times where he got some plays off in those circumstances where the pocket's collapsing. He's right in the middle of it. Like a lot of quarterbacks would panic, but no, like a lot of young quarterbacks would panic. But Trey Lance seems very mature in his pocket presence, where he'll stay right there. He will keep his eyes up. He'll look for a guy. He's going to try to get that ball out. And so that's one thing to really like about Trey Lance. And if I don't have time to pull it up right now, but if you guys go to my Twitter and look some of those videos, there was a pass he threw to Deebo Samuel in which the pocket was like really collapsing, and he was right in the middle of it. He got the ball off to Deebo. Not sure if they would have called that, if that would have been a sack in a real game situation, but I just like the the wanting to get the ball out, not panicking, and being able to connect with his guys. George Kittle, he hit a few times as well, and kind of on a similar circumstance where the pocket was starting to cave in, and he was able to get the ball out to George Kittle. So these are all good things that I'll say about Trey Lance. So on the interception, I want to talk about this one because to me, like, it still feels like here and there, we're still seeing that Trey Lance and Deebo just aren't on the same page in terms of like their timing. Here's the one I was talking about. This one's a good play. It's not the one I'm talking about. So this is the one where the pocket was like collapsing, and you'll see Lance right in the middle, stands tall, gets the ball out. And so that was a good play. So I'm trying to find the... Okay, here's the... Oh, okay. So a couple plays that I want to talk about between Trey Lance and Deebo. They did connect a couple of times or multiple times in this practice. So I don't want you guys to think that all of them were like, bad. But so they connect, but every once in a while there'll be plays like this where like the timing... And you can say Deebo Samuel slipped here. Like a lot of people felt that way, and that's fine. But also on Deebo Samuel's, like you can see he's kind of like pitter-pattering his feet before even getting to the ball, which I think slowed him down. Like if he just sprinted through and to get to that ball, I think he would have been able to catch that just fine. Like, and so looking back at it, I thought the placement was okay. And he's putting it kind of high because he probably thought that Deebo would get in front of this and make the play. But it was a bit of Deebo like losing his footing. And then also, like I mentioned, that pitter-pattering of his feet. Like he has these short steps right before. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Could I slow this down? Kind of. So like, it's kind of shaky. But right here, he like pitter patters, and then that's like he kind of has to jump for it, and then he kind of loses his footing. So I think part of it, is the fact that Trey Lance is used to a lot of his receivers, Brandon Ayuk especially, having that crazy catch radius, guys that will go up and get the ball no matter what. And Deebo Samuel, at least so far, he doesn't seem like as willing. I don't know if it's just because it's like practice. Like maybe in a real game situation, this would be different. And again, I know he probably lost his footing on this one, but I'm just saying in a general sense, based on what I've seen through multiple plays. I feel like Deebo Samuel he's just a different kind of receiver. Like you're gonna have some receivers who are gonna be go up and get it guys, and you're gonna have different receivers like Deebo who you got to get it on the money for him to get it, and not all the time. I don't want to say that's all the time because Deebo can make some great plays where he does get his hands up, but not at the same rate that someone like Brandon Ayuk would. I don't think so. I think that's just some of the things that Trey Lance needs to get used to when it comes to his connection with Deebo. And so I think that's something that they're still trying to figure out. Let me go to the interception if I can find it. Let's see. Okay, here. So this is the interception. So Deebo Samuel's right over here. And you see it gets tipped. And the ball is thrown slightly behind Deebo, but I think part of that is because there is a Vikings defender right in front of it. And so he couldn't lead him too far because then that second defender would have been able to make a play on the ball. So I think in a way it was Trey Lance was trying to protect the ball. Ironically, it's almost thrown a little too behind, which makes the immediate defender, the one defending, the one on coverage on Deebo, it gives him a chance to make a play on it. He gets his hands in, the ball gets tipped up in the air, and then there's another Vikings defender. Sorry, it's too far to see like the numbers, so that's why I'm just saying Vikings defender. Ball tipped, and really that's a nice diving catch on the Vikings defender there to get that interception. It might have been Harrison actually that got that dive. Let me see. Can't see his number. Anyway, yeah. So again, like just this one, I don't know. I don't blame him too much. He probably shouldn't have thrown this ball at all. But as far as like the placement goes, if he had to throw that ball, I'm not mad at the placement. I think it was just a good, better play by the Vikings there. And again, the reason I'm not mad at the placement is because the other defender. Let me see if I can. It's right here. So you'll see, like this is a pretty tight window there. So that's why I say it probably shouldn't have been thrown. But if he had to throw this ball, I'd much rather it be closer to this action than this defender, because this defender would probably get an interception as well. I mean, it ended up being an interception anyway, but more so because this guy was able to get his hands in there. So it was that's a tough throw. Very tight window. I mean, you could see at the catch point right there, like they're both in there. So it's even unclear like which one of them got the tip on there. Yeah, so it's probably an ill-advised throw altogether, but all right. So that's what I'm going to say on Trey Lance. I mean, I think as a whole, he looked better than I had originally thought, probably, but the offensive line didn't do him any favors. So I think that's going to be the story of the beginning of the season, to be honest with you. And that's the one area that I'm concerned with at the moment. But I'm happy with Trey Lance and how he handles, the offensive line play, because he's not a big panic and scramble at the first sight of the pocket collapsing kind of guy. I think he's going to be all right. And I think the offensive line is just going to take some time to really gel. 2 new starters on there. So I think the first few weeks of the season are going to be rough with the O-line play. I'm just preparing you all for that now. All right. As far as the other receivers that did well, Danny Gray, Malik Turner, they won some reps in one-on-one. as I mentioned, the timing with Debo continues to show or rear its, I don't know what that was, rear its ugly head, every once in a while, but they're still connecting a lot. So it's a minor thing, but also something that like you want to work through it and get that sorted out before week 1, before regular season starts. As far as the running backs go, Jeff Wilson Jr., he had a nice gain on the reception from Trey Lance. I had a video on it. So if, again, I don't really have time, but if you guys want to check that out on my Twitter, go ahead, check that. Hasty, he broke off a pretty nice run in team drills, and I also posted a video of that if you guys want to see that on my Twitter. Jordan Mason, he was out there making guys miss as per usual. I'm excited for him in this game on Saturday, so we'll see how he looks. And Trey Sermon, as Mac mentioned earlier, it looked like he may have hurt his ankle. He was walking gingerly back to the team bus, so hopefully we find out more about that tomorrow. Maybe we'll have an update. And if we don't see Trey Sermon play, I think it's a huge indication as to, his status and how he's doing. But suddenly, a lot of injuries for this running back group and, not ideal right before the season begins. So something to keep an eye on. Yeah, thanks guys for watching. As I mentioned, this is a double header. So if you guys want to catch me in the next stream with Jason, stay tuned for the next video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Let's try to get to 20 likes if we could. And I appreciate you guys coming on today. Peace.